Greetings everyone, Ryan Sprague here, host of Somewhere in the Skies. For over 7 years and more than 400 episodes, the Somewhere in the Skies podcast has always been free to listen to, but it's not free to create. So we offer several ways to help support our efforts and get rewards in return. If you listen to the podcast on Apple, you can click the subscribe button at the top of your Somewhere in the Skies feed to become a premium Apple subscriber. Or you can join our Patreon campaign with several tiers available. Both of these options give you the same benefits and rewards: ad-free episodes, early access to the main show, and bonus episodes and content. Help keep the lights on at the Somewhere in the Skies HQ, and help us continue to grow by becoming a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/somewhereskies, or by clicking the subscribe button at the top of your Apple feed. Thank you for your continued support, and keep looking up. On the afternoon of November 7th, 2006, United Airlines employees at Chicago O'Hare International Airport would see something truly bizarre. It was a perfectly cylindrical flying object, hovering silently above Gate C17. It wasn't caught on radar, it didn't have lights, and it made absolutely no sound. And then, without warning, it shot straight up into the clouds, leaving a clean, circular hole in the overcast skies. No passengers seemed to have noticed it, but over a dozen aviation professionals, pilots, mechanics, ramp workers, and supervisors would stick to their stories, especially when audio tapes would be released officially by the FAA as this event was unfolding in real time. This is the story of the Chicago O'Hare UFO incident, an airport full of witnesses, and a case full of unanswered questions.
You are now Somewhere in the Skies with your host, Ryan Sprague.
At approximately 4:15 p.m. Central Time, a United Airlines ramp employee at Gate C17 looked up and saw what he described as a perfectly round, dark gray metallic object hovering motionless just below the clouds. According to his report, the object was estimated to be about 22 feet in diameter and appeared to be spinning slowly. Over the next few minutes, multiple other employees, ground crew, pilots in the cockpit, supervisors in the terminal, also spotted the object. Several reported it to United Operations. One pilot was even pushing back from Gate C9, and they would radio this in, worried about a potential airspace intrusion. Here is just a sample of the rare audio tapes compiled from the transmissions between airport crew and the Federal Aviation Administration on that day.
Fire Tower, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave, it's Sue from United Tower.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, did you see a flying disc out by C-17?
Don't even start, Sue.
No,
You're seeing flying discs.
well, that's what the pilot and the ramp guys are telling us. The C-17, they saw some flying disc above them. We can't see
Come
above us.
on,
You
Sue.
didn't see it, right?
You guys been celebrating the holidays already over there or what? You having a Christmas party today? I have not seen anything, Sue. And if I did, I wouldn't admit to it. No, I have not seen any flying discs at Gate C7. Unless you got a new aircraft you're bringing out today that we don't know about.
No.
No, I have not seen anything, Sue.
All right.
If I do, I don't know what I'll do. If I see it, I guess I'll back it up with you. But no, I'll keep an eye out.
All right, bye.
All right, there. Okay, Tower, Dwight.
Dwight,
Yes.
what happened to Dave? Did he have to take a break because I called him?
No.
This is Sue from United.
Yes.
There was a disc out there flying around.
There was a what?
A disc?
A disc? Can you hang on 1 second?
Sure, Dwight.
Okay, I'm sorry. What can I do for you now?
All right. I told Dave there was a disc flying outside above Charlie 17, and he thought it was pretty much high. but I'm not high and I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Someone actually has a picture of it, so if you guys see it out there,
A disc. Like a frisbee?
like a UFO type thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
They have a picture of it.
How high above Charlie 17?
Well, it was above our tower. So, if you happen to see anything...
You know what? I'll keep a peeled eye for that.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Tower Cab, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave, Roger, at United Agency.
Yeah, Roger.
I got an interesting one for you, Dave, here. Some of our employees, I don't know if you heard anything about this, some of our pilots on the ground were reporting a UFO sighting at 1,000 feet from the seaside of the airport. Did you guys hear anything about that?
You know what? The ramp tower called me, I want to say about 10, 15 minutes ago. We have not seen anything up there.
Okay.
Because she said it was right around Gate C17.
Okay.
But, and since she called, I've been looking, but we have not seen anything.
Okay.
If we do, oh well,
Well, no, I'm just wondering. Maybe we'll have to give him C7 right.
Yeah, I know. Either that or you guys unveiled a brand new aircraft that I didn't tell anybody about.
I know.
But, no, we have not seen anything, but we will surely keep an eye out, that's for sure.
Thank you very much.
No problems.
Bye.
Ground Gateway 5668, send the penalty box ready to go to the Northport.
Gateway 5668, you can use Alpha to Northport and use caution for the UFOs.
Alpha to Northport, we'll take a look. United Maintenance 44.
Okay, it's 44, thank you.
All right.
44 is going around to Northport.
Excellent.
You got Eagle and SkyWest over here coming around this way. He's turning in no factory. You really got no other gate holds.
All right.
Somebody reported a UFO or a flying disc above Charlie Concourse, seriously.
Excellent.
Yeah. So nobody can
keep my eyes open.
Nobody can see it, but use caution.
All right.
And that's pretty much it. Gateway 5668.
5668, go ahead.
Yeah, look out your window. Do you see anything above United's concourse? They actually, believe it or not, they called us and said somebody observed a flying disc about 1,000 feet above the Gate Charlie 17. You see anything over there?
Not that I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, I thought my job was stressful.
We saw it a half hour ago.
Who saw it?
A whole bunch of us over at the Charlie Concourse.
Really? You guys did? Who's this?
The United taxi mechanic.
Witnesses described the object as completely silent. It held its position for several minutes before abruptly accelerating upward at incredible speeds, punching a circular hole through the cloud layer. The hole remained visible for about 15 minutes before just closing up naturally. There were no known aircraft in the vicinity at that altitude, and the object did not appear on FAA radar. United Airlines did not initially file any official incident report with the FAA. However, it was clear from the audio you just heard that something definitely out of the ordinary was going on. There were several factors that made this UFO incident stand out amongst the rest. For one, the people who saw it were trained professionals who worked around aircraft daily. They could distinguish a balloon or a drone from something truly anomalous. Also, O'Hare is one of the busiest airports in the world, with very tightly controlled airspace. Any unauthorized craft hovering near a gate should have triggered alarms. The weather conditions at the time also made this case an outlier of sorts. This wasn't a blinking light in the sky at night. This happened in daylight, under overcast conditions, making it even easier to see stuff clearly. Independent witnesses gave consistent descriptions of the object and its behavior as well. For weeks, the story remained under the radar. Forgive the pun. United Airlines downplayed the event. The FAA initially denied any knowledge of the event. It wasn't until early January of 2007, 2 months after the event, that the story would hit national headlines. Thanks to one reporter, John Hilkovich, who reported for transportation at the Chicago Tribune. Hilkovich obtained internal FAA documents and the audio recordings that you heard through a Freedom of Information Act request. This would all confirm that several United employees had reported the sighting and that FAA officials discussed how to handle the situation. In a widely read Chicago Tribune article titled, "In the Sky, a Bird, a Plane, a UFO?" Hilkovich laid out the facts. The FAA confirmed it had received a call from United, but decided not to investigate because the object didn't appear on radar and was considered nothing but a weather phenomena. But this was no weather phenomena. Here is a rare interview that was conducted with Hilkovich, talking about his reporting on the event and the aftermath.
Yeah, the story ran January 1st, 2007, based on a alleged incident that occurred at O'Hare above Gate C17 on November 7th, 2006. Reason there was a several-month lag in us reporting it or even deciding whether to report it at all was that I had to track down the witnesses of this alleged incident. And what fascinated me was the fact that these were all such credible observers. These were pilots. These were ramp workers and mechanics who were jockeying planes back and forth from the hangar, who all, down to a person, reported the exact same sighting. This metallic gray spear-shaped or disc-shaped object hovering stationary in place about 1,500 feet above Gate C17. And then they all described this departure where it just left suddenly with such velocity and speed that it poked this donut-shaped hole in what was otherwise a very cloud-covered sky that day.
Huh. So it's an intriguing story.
Right.
That you reported in the Tribune, and then its new life is what?
Well, its new life is there's a new book by an author named Leslie Kean, and Miss Kean was on the Colbert Report last night. And she brought up the O'Hare sighting, in which Stephen Colbert said he had never heard of it, so he asked, how do I find that on Google? And that unleashed the floodgates.
So this morning, did you watch the Colbert Report last night?
I did not.
So how did you find out about this?
Well, two ways. One, I got an early morning call from a producer at WGN Radio asking me to come on. And I had just had my first cup of coffee. So I okay, so what's the news here? This is almost a 4-year-old story. And then shortly after that, I received, as I do almost every day, emails from UFO enthusiasts and researchers who were talking about this the Colbert Report the previous night. So I quickly got up to speed. Let me repeat that. I quickly got up to speed on what was happening.
So let me ask you, in this event, what is the most credible aspect of this event? I think maybe we're getting into this. Most credible aspect of this, reported UFO sighting is?
Well, the most credible part is that pilots, numerous pilots, including the two pilots at C-17, opened their windows and peered out the cockpit, and both saw in great detail, what they, perceived to be a UFO. And they said it couldn't have been a light show. It could not have been a weather phenomenon, as the FAA later said it must have been. And I have documentation between United Airlines managers to their bosses saying, we've received reports of this from our employees. What do we do? Some of these employees were brought in, interviewed, even asked to draw sketches of what they saw. So what's equally important is not just that the caliber of these witnesses, but the Tribune's ability to document, for no better word, a cover-up by both United Airlines and the FAA, because when I went to both parties, they flatly said they knew nothing about this, that my call was the first information they received. And in fact, I have correspondence that shows that they clearly were told about it and communicated internally and externally about it.
And so what is is there anything that blows a hole in this thing?
Well, what blows a hole in this theory is that no air traffic controller saw it, that nobody with a camera phone at O'Hare happened to snap a picture of this, and this spaceship, if it was so, is long gone.
So an alien abduction case, but in the figurative sense, it has abducted your day.
It has abducted my day. I have put aside 2 or 3 other stories, and I'm working on this today.
Hey guys, Ryan Sprague here, and I want to tell you all about an exciting event that I'm going to be speaking at in Hexham, England on August 9th. It's called Cosmic Frequencies. Cosmic Frequencies is going to be an unforgettable evening of mind-expanding science, live cosmic funk music, and of course, UFOs. The event is bringing together leading voices from the frontiers of space exploration, UFO research, and science communication. Curated by the SKX Funkanauts Band in collaboration with Kielder Observatory, this immersive event features powerful live music interwoven with talks from astrophysicist and SETI researcher Dr. Beatrice Villarreal, representative of the Kielder Observatory Dan Pye, Emmy-nominated filmmaker and former executive producer for the BBC, Steve Crabtree, and yours truly, talking all about the human side of UFO experiences, with stunning celestial visuals and a special panel discussion and Q&A. This evening celebrates the intersection of art, science, and curiosity, and a journey through space, sound, and the unknown. There will also be a special VIP meet and greet after the talks. Cosmic Frequencies is being held at the Forum Cinema in Hexham, England. Join us on August 9th. For more information and to purchase your tickets, visit cosmicfrequencies.org. Once again, that's cosmicfrequencies.org. And let's get funky! The article by Hilkovich sparked a media frenzy. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and all the major newspapers around the world started to pick up the story. The FAA was then forced to issue a statement reiterating its stance that it had no plans to investigate further. The FAA's official explanation was that the object was likely a weather phenomenon, possibly a hole punch cloud.
Let's describe what's going on here. This is an area of clouds. These are super cooled water droplets, water that's liquid below freezing. And then induced into that is an ice crystal. Could have been from a departing airliner, or it could have been from these darker clouds here, seeding that. What happens is that ice crystal attracts all those super cooled water droplets, turns them to ice crystals, and they precipitate or fall out. And that rainbow effect is those ice crystals acting as tiny prisms. Hole punch cloud, that's what's happening in the sky when you see that. It's not some alien approaching us.
But this explanation did not sit well with witnesses. UFO researcher Sam Moranto was able to track down a witness outside of the airport who gave their testimony about what they had seen that day. And as you can imagine, they weren't accepting the weather phenomenon explanation.
We have seen anomalous things in the sky, and I don't say anomalous lightly. I can identify so many different phenomena. You know, it's interesting. I even have experience with lenticular clouds. I used to do high mountain climbing, and I have seen a zillion of them. I can't tell you how many lenticular clouds I've seen hovering over O'Hare and just punching a hole in the cloud cover. You know, it just was like weather phenomenon. I think not. It was very obvious. I mean, it was very obviously not cloud. It was very obviously a solid object. It didn't change shape in any way. It obviously wasn't a balloon that was subject to the wind. It didn't move with the wind. Very obviously, I mean, this was a daytime thing. This wasn't some, case of lights that look a little unusual at night or anything like that. This was just a very blatant daytime sighting. And no, it wasn't so dark that we couldn't tell what we were seeing. Not at all, not by any stretch.
The hole in the clouds, they would say, occurred after the object shot upward, not before. The object was seen hovering below the clouds for several minutes. No known weather balloon or even a drone at the time could have behaved the way that this did, especially in a restricted airspace. The FAA's unwillingness to investigate further fueled accusations of a cover-up, or at least institutional indifference, I guess. Skeptics accuse the agency of ignoring potentially dangerous intrusions. UFO advocates claimed it was another example of bureaucracies stonewalling public access to unexplained aerial phenomena. Despite many compelling reports, none of the witnesses were interviewed by the FAA, and like mentioned, no investigation was ever made public. So we gotta ask this question. In the age of smartphones, it's fair to ask, why didn't anyone take a photo of this thing? Or video even? Well, it's important to remember context. In 2006, camera phones weren't yet ubiquitous. Airport workers typically left their phones in their lockers, and ramp areas were strictly controlled. So no passengers on the concourse appear to have noticed the object. Also, the sighting occurred quickly and unexpectedly, over the span of a few minutes, not hours. That said, the lack of photographic evidence remains a sticking point for these skeptics, especially when unverified photos did surface in the past few years. Just Google Chicago O'Hare UFO and I'm sure they'll pop up. Again, none of these have been verified. This incident gave a jolt to UFO researchers and enthusiasts. Many saw it as validation of a long-standing claim that UFOs are real, observed by credible people, and systematically ignored by institutions. Groups like MUFON or NUFORC took the case very seriously. They gathered as many witness statements as they could and used the incident to push for more government transparency. The case is now routinely listed among the top most compelling UFO sightings in history. The O'Hare incident poses some uncomfortable questions. If something can appear in restricted airspace, hover near a commercial jet gate, and disappear without a trace, what does that say about our airspace security? Why would the FAA dismiss multiple credible witnesses simply because the object wasn't on radar? These aren't just questions about aliens. They're questions about aviation safety, institutional transparency, and the limits of our detection systems. In a time when governments are becoming more open to the study of UFOs, or UAPs as they're calling them, perhaps the O'Hare incident will finally get the attention it truly deserves. Or perhaps it will remain what it always has been, a silent mystery above Gate C17.
Gateway 5668?
5668, go ahead.
Yeah, look out your window. Do you see anything above United's concourse? They actually, believe it or not, they called us and said somebody observed a flying disc about 1,000 feet above the Gate Charlie 17. You see anything over there?
Not that I can tell.
Okay, yeah, I thought my job was stressful.
We saw it a half hour ago.
Who saw it?
A whole bunch of us over at the Charlie concourse.
Really?
Somewhere in the Skies is part of the Somewhere podcast universe. Please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. To learn more about all of our shows, visit thespu.com.